Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be reading the Gospel of Matthew chapter 27 from the MEV translation. So let's get started. Jesus brought before Pilate. When the morning came, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. When they'd bound him, they led him away and handed him over to Pontius Pilate, governor. When Judas, who had betrayed him, saw that he was condemned, he repented and brought back the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed innocent blood. They said, What is that to us? You must see to that. So he threw down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed, and he went and hanged himself. The chief priests took the silver pieces and said, It is not lawful to put them into the treasury, because this is the price of blood. So they took counsel and bought with them in the potter's field to bury strangers in. Now this is where we get the popular saying, blood money. You'll find that a lot of the sayings that we use, even now in modern times, are actually based on Bible verses, however slightly changed in some areas. So this is where the impression blood money come from. Verse 7. So they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Therefore that field has been called the field of blood to this day. Then what was spoken by the Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. They took the 30 pieces of silver, the value of that the sons of Israel set on him, and gave them for the potter's field as the Lord appointed me. Now this is an interesting verse here. Verse 9, then that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. Now you'll find that the King James translators added Jeremiah the prophet. The actual original translation, the original manuscripts says, then that which was fulfilled by the prophet was fulfilled. You'll find that the Aramaic translation of translation of the New Testament, in which it was originally spoken in and written in, Gospel of Matthew, written in Aramaic, because Matthew was a Jew, actually does not have the word Jeremiah, because we actually see that when you run this reference, they took the 30 pieces of silver and so forth, that is referenced in the book of Zechariah. And so it wasn't Jeremiah, it was Zechariah. But sometimes with original languages being translated into English and other languages, sometimes things get lost in translation. So that was just a little thing that bugged me for many years until I looked into it. Verse 11, Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, Are you the king of the Jews? Jesus said to him, You have said so. When he was accused by the chief priests and elders, he gave no answer. Then Pilate said to him, Do you not hear how many things they testify against you? But he never answered him, not a word, so that the governor was greatly amazed. Now at the feast the governor was accustomed to release into the people a prisoner whom they chose. They had then a notorious prisoner called Barabbas. So when they gathered together, Pilate said to them, Whom do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called Christ? But he knew that they had handed him over out of envy. When he was sitting on the judgment seat, his wife sent word to him, Have nothing to do with that righteous man, for I have suffered much today in a dream on account of him. But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and kill Jesus. The governor answered, Which of the two do you want me to release to you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate said to them, Then what should I do with Jesus, who is called Christ? They all said to him, Let him be crucified. The governor said, Why? What evil has he done? But they cried out all the more, Let him be crucified. Then Pilate saw that he could not prevail, but rather that unrest was beginning. He took water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this righteous man. See to it yourselves. Then all the people answered, His blood be on us and on our children. Then he released Barabbas to them, but when he had scourged Jesus, he handed him over to be crucified. Again, looking back at verse 24, we see that as Pilate washed his hands, that's another saying, I'm going to wash my hands of you. You know, when you finished, You got nothing else to do with a person or situation. You just say, I'm washing my hands of this. And that is a reference back to when Pilate washed his hands and said, I'm having nothing to do with Jesus being crucified. Verse 27, then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the praetorium and gathered the whole detachment of soldiers before him. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him. And when they wove a crown of thorns, they put it on his head and put a staff in his right hand. They knelt before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews! They spit on him and took the staff and hit him in the head. After they had mocked him, they took the robe off him and his own garments, put his own garments on him and led him away to crucify him. As they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. This man they compelled to bear his cross. When they came to a place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull, they gave him sour wine mingled with gall to drink. But when he tasted it, he would not drink it. When they crucified him, they divided his garments by casting lots to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet. And when it says they cast lots, it's like they were sort of, I think they might have used sticks or something, different kinds of sticks or something. But today it would be the equivalent to throwing dice and seeing whoever got the highest score in order to get the clothing that Jesus had left behind. Verse 36, and sitting down they kept watch over him there. They put his accusation over his head, which read, This is Jesus, King of the Jews, the King of the Jews. Then the two thieves were crucified with him, one on the right and another on the left. Those who passed by insulted him, wagging their heads, saying, You, who would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross. Likewise the chief priests with the scribes and elders mocked him, saying, He saved others, he cannot save himself. If he is the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God. Even the thieves who were crucified with him insulted him in the same way. Now we know that was only one of the thieves there that insulted him. The other one was sorry for what had happened. Now the 6th hour until the 9th hour there was a darkness over all the land. About the 9th hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? Some of those who stood there heard it and said, This man is calling for Elijah. Immediately one of them ran, took a sponge and filled it with wine, and put it on a stick, and gave it to him to drink. The rest said, Leave him alone, let us see if Elijah will come to save him. And Jesus, when he cried out again with a loud voice, released his spirit. The old King James Version says he gave up the ghost. And again, that's another expression when something has died, something is no longer working. People go, oh, it's given up the ghost. I mean, even a person can say that about a washing machine. The washing machine's given up the ghost. But it basically means that that's the end of that, it's passed on. At that moment, the curtain of the temple was torn in two, from the top to the bottom, and the ground shook, and the rocks split apart. The graves also were opened, and many bodies of the saints who had died were raised. And coming out of the graves after his resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many. See, we see here that when Jesus was crucified, it wasn't just a simple him being put on the cross and then him dying, and there was no major events happening. There was earthquakes, rocks were splitting, there was a massive darkness all over the earth for 3 hours, or at least over that area. Not the earth, it doesn't say the earth, but over that area there was 3 hours of complete darkness, and people and the Old Testament saints were even coming out of their graves and were appearing to people in Jerusalem. Verse 54, when the centurion and those with him when the centurion and those with him, keeping watch over Jesus, saw the earthquake and what took place, they feared greatly and said, Truly he was the Son of God. Many women who were there, watching from afar, followed Jesus from Galilee, serving him, among whom was Mary Magdalene, and Mary, the mother of James, and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's sons. When the evening came, there came a rich man of Arimathea named Joseph, who also was a disciple of Jesus. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then Pilate commanded the body to be given to him. When Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had cut out of the rock. And he rolled a large stone to the door of the tomb and departed. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were there sitting opposite the tomb. The next day, following a day of preparation, the chief priests and Pharisees gathered before Pilate, saying, "Sir, we remember that deceiver saying while he was still alive, 'After 3 days I will rise.' Therefore command that the tomb be made secure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away, and then tell the people that he is risen from the dead. The last deception will be worse than the first." Pilate said to them, "You have a guard, go your way, make it as secure as you can." So they went and made the tomb secure by sealing the stone and posting the guard. So that was Matthew chapter 27. Pretty long chapter, that one, 66 verses. Just a historical side note, when the guards were sent to guard the tomb, it wasn't just like 2 guards sitting at the tomb next to the stone and then falling to sleep or whatever. They were very alert, they were vigilant, they were guards, Roman guards. Roman guards are very strict, very disciplined. They would not have fallen asleep on their watch. And because some people said, well, the guards fell asleep, the disciples came along, rolled the stone away, got Jesus' body out and went and hid it somewhere. Okay? And 2,000 years later, Jesus' body's never been found because it's not here on earth. Okay? He's up in heaven. Spirit, soul and body, the whole package. So the guards are under strict rules. If they were caught not keeping their duties, especially falling asleep on the job, they would be put to death. That's how severe it was. So they were very serious about the job that they had been given. Okay, well, that was Matthew chapter 27. Thanks for bearing with me. A few slip of the tongues there, but I am used to reading the King James version. I'm well versed in the King James, and sometimes when I read in the MEV, I see King James. So it sort of confuses me for a moment. But I'm reading from the MEV because it's basically everyone can understand it, and I want everyone to understand it. Okay, well, God bless you, have a great week, and I'll see you for the last chapter of Matthew. See you later. Bye-bye.